Cześć, witam Was jak zawsze serdecznie. Dzisiaj jak zawsze z Mińska Mazowieckiego. Widzę pierwszych naszych gości naszego czatu mamy na linii, co mnie niezmiernie cieszy, że jesteście z nami od samego rana. Niektórzy z herbatą, jak zauważyłem, a jeszcze inni z kawą. Słuchajcie, dzisiaj przenosimy się na Middle East. Mamy specjalnego gościa, Laila Al-Hadhrami. I think that I pronounced very well. Ale myślę, że Laila samodzielnie przedstawi się Wam i omówi nam, skąd pochodzi. And now I'm just changing the picture and switching to English. Hello, Laila.
Hi, Sebastian, everyone.
Laila, thank you very much that you joined to our live. For us, I think it is a great honor to have you with us because we shared many times about different cases and strategies worldwide. However, first time we have a person from this region, from Middle East. Laila, I'm just giving a floor to you just to introduce a little bit. I think that you're going to do it better than I will do it behalf of you. Laila, floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Sebastian. And I have to say that I'm really honored to be part of your show so we can talk about one of our favorite topics, which is smart cities. And to introduce myself to everyone, I hope that you can hear me very well first, Sebastian.
Yes, I think yes. It's very well yet, Jesse. I hear you very well. I don't have as well any comments on the chat that I think it's excellent.
Because we still, as we are talking about smart cities and the technology, sometimes we have challenges. So we have to make sure, because we cannot, let me say, ignore the human part. And to introduce myself, I started, let me say, the first career journey. It was in the government organization. And then I moved to the private sector. And then, so I started, the first time I started with smart cities, I would really love to share with you also my story with smart cities, because I was part of the National Digital Transformation Project. And the first time I heard about smart cities, it was really confusing for me. I said, what's really smart city? And why I need to say this, Sebastian, because I'm sure everyone is going through the same case. So don't worry. So if you listen to me, you're going to feel so much excited, because even for us, as you are experts in this, we go all of us through this. So the first time I heard about smart cities, I thought smart cities is about technology, is about digital transformation, because we are working
One second, Laila, 1 second. Hold on, because I think that I will ask in the moment about it. However, it means that because you are living in Oman, yes, I understood that we first time in Oman, and your private life and business life is connected with high technologies, yes, because I found as well Metaverse on your resume and CV. And what else you experienced during your life around technology?
Yeah, that's why I need how I really started. I started my bachelor degree. It was English literature, and everyone was asking that question: what is the relation between your education background and the technology? So I started my bachelor degree, let's say, in English literature. But as soon as I started my career life, at that time, I wanted to go for my master's degree. But when you are like fresh employee in your first year, or let me say second year, you cannot leave your job that you have waited that job for, let me say, long time. So I was thinking, how can I, let me say, go for my master's degree? And I decided to do it online. And and when I'm talking about online education, this was about 20 years ago. No, it was less than that. Almost like, let me say, 17 years ago or 16 years ago. At that time, the online learning was not popular. And I insisted to get my master's degree, because everyone, they told me, online learning is not that effective. You are not going to learn anything, because it's better for you to do it physically, face to face. Don't go for that. Because of that, I decided first to challenge myself and challenge everyone that I will do my master's degree online, and also to be specialized in online education. So I got my master's degree from Southern Queensland. And how my journey with the metaverse started, it started at that time. Because everyone, when they're speaking about the metaverse is a new technology. I say, no, metaverse started a long time ago. It's an old technology. So part of my master's degree was the virtual platforms where we experience how's the virtual education in the virtual platforms. At that time, one of the pioneer Metaverse platform, it's called Second Life. I'm sure that the pioneers like you, Sebastian, and me, we know Second Life. Nowadays, we have another, let me say, popular platforms like Decentraland and Roblox and others. But I started my journey with the Metaverse when I was a master student. And I have a published paper with one of my colleagues. And if you saw, or let me say, if you read that publication, Sebastian, it's almost the same what they are talking about today, about how you can buy a land, how you can sell a land, how can you use it for education, how you can use it for health, how can you use it for different use cases. Definitely, there have been improvement in the technology because we started as a basic virtual platform, but then it was integrated with the blockchain and the other technologies. As soon as I got my master's degree, I moved to my second job in the digital transformation national project, and I stayed there in that job for 10 years. 10 years that let me say, open to different projects in the technology world. That's how I shifted from my bachelor education to the technology. I became very excited. Every time I'm going to a new project, I learn about it. And the most important thing, I got certified because we are working very close from the government organizations, and it was very challenging for me. So every time I challenge myself, I still remember the first let me say team or project that I have been handling in the digital transformation project was the user experience team. And I was asking myself, Layla, how can you go and supervise this team, although I have almost like now 10 years, but I couldn't feel confident about myself because the education is like a weapon for you. You don't just go and say blah, 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 but if you have the certificate as a weapon and the experience to combine them together, that will be like your unique weapon. So the first project was the user experience. Then I moved to another project, building capacity program, change management, project management, till I reach the smart cities. So I started with the smart cities in 2016. But the first time I heard about smart city, it was when I was in the, let me say, running one of the building capacity programs for the government organizations, because I was responsible about conducting these programs for government organizations. And I was inviting, let me say, or organizing a lot of these sessions where speakers are coming and speaking about smart cities. But every time they are speaking about smart cities, I was just watching them. Smart city, is smart city digital transformation? Is smart city IoT? Is it something else? I couldn't find the answer at that time. So I started working in smart cities in 2017 because I have been nominated to be part of the first smart city platform. It was a knowledge-based platform in Oman, and it's called Smart City Platform. So I was part of the team, and that was challenging for me because I decided I have to study now very well. I have to understand. So I started meeting different people, reading different articles, interviewing different people because I couldn't work and I don't understand what's really smart city. So that is how my story with smart city started. And 2021, I decided to leave the government because 2019 also I was also a fellowship research with the United Nations e-government in Portugal, and I was working also in smart city indicators. And I returned back to Oman, and so many questions in my mind. Smart city is not just technology, Layla. Smart city is bigger than that one. It's about a country vision. It's about a city vision. It's about the people, technology. It's about all the sectors. So I decided then to move from the government because I wanted to touch, let me say, the devices. Because when we are working the government, most of the time we are talking, advising the others, but we don't touch things. Definitely, we don't touch
Laila,
these devices.
1 second, because you are so talkative like myself, you know. I should just make some pauses during your. Laila, thank you very much, because your journey is amazing. You know, I see the passion. That's why it is not, you know, the coincidence that you became as well the most recognized person in the Middle East, in Oman. That's Laila. My question is around the organization, because your title is 3C, three, you know, connectivities, connect, and cities. What is the organization? You know, what is
Okay.
doing this? You know, how is visible on the in the Middle East?
Excellent. Okay, let me continue the journey where I start because I left the government after 17 years of experience, and I moved to the private sector, and I established the first smart city development department. And when I moved to the private sector, that was another story because there I started touching the devices. I used to talk about the IoT. I started working closely with the IoT devices. I started working with all the smart city projects. And it was very beautiful journey for me. It was challenging. I have to say it was very tough because I have to learn so many things. So imagine somebody like me who most of the time I'm a business person, but I have to be technical. I have to understand the connectivity. I still remember something, funny. The first time I heard about LoRa connectivity. LoRa connectivity, I thought, the first time I heard about LoRa connectivity, what I thought, who's this lady? Who they are talking about?
Miss Laura.
Who's Laura? Who's Laura? So
Where is
then
Laura? Where is Laura?
yeah, and they would say Laura and Laura and Laura. Say, who's Laura? Where's Laura? So then I learned later on LoRa one is one of the connectivities that we use it in IoT because I never realized that we are using different connectivity. I thought we are using the same connectivity in our mobiles with the IoT connectivities. No, that's another word. We have different connectivities with the IoT devices. And after spending almost like 1 year and almost like 2 months in that company, I felt that I need to have another journey because I started to be having global contributions. And most of the time, I was having different hats. Sometimes I have to wear the government hat. Sometimes I have to wear the private, let me say, hat. And sometimes I have to be academic, supporting the academic, supporting the SMEs, startups. And to be in one place, for example, as a private company, I couldn't do it because you have to be loyal for one company and I have to focus on the implementation of smart city projects. And my passion is to empower more cities, more people around the world, so we can understand what do we mean by smart cities. And that's why the story of Communities Connect Cities started. I call it C3 Advisory. This is my first advisory company, so I can continue the dream of smart cities. And everyone is asking me, what is the story behind this? And I said, cities is about communities. Who's creating our cities, Sebastian? Because the first, let me say, mistake that as misconception, I thought that cities is just about technology. And then I realized after working with the government, with the private sector, with different global organizations, that we are always missing the most important element, people, community. Because if you are able to build the perfect community, you will be able to achieve the vision of smart, sustainable cities. So that's how the story of Communities Connect Cities started. So we can connect people with technology. The technology is always there around us, but it's about the people, how they can adapt this technology. It's about the culture of the people to create their own cities and trust the technology because not everyone is trusting the technology. People sometimes resisting the technology, even if it's going to improve the quality of life for them. And this is something natural in all our, let me say, behaviors.
Laila, one stop, please hold on a little bit, because you smoothly went from one point to another one around smart cities. What is really for me, what I'm really interested in is, because you are coming from Middle East. From majority of us, those cities, Oman, like Abu Dhabi, or I don't know, Dubai, those like I even can call some kingdoms, because they look beautiful. I think there is something in this region which is a little bit different than in other regions. You are growing very fast. It is connected with, with what is connected with money, with very direct strategy, or with people who just, got the experience and they went back to create those cities.
This is a very great question, Sebastian, and maybe this is one of the reasons why I decided let me say, launch my advisor company, because everyone they say we don't know how to start, we don't know how we can be successful, like for example, Singapore, or let me say like Hong Kong or Dubai or recently Saudi Arabia, and I'm telling them what's really unique about smart cities. Every city it has its own DNA, and it's very important to learn from the others so we can customize it to our cities. You might love something in that city, but you will not find it in the other city. So every city it has, let me say, challenges and opportunities. For me, Sebastian, I would love to come to Poland. Every time I said, I wish I could go to Poland, because for us in the Middle East, you know what is really famous for us, Poland?
Yeah.
Poland are the smart people who are creating the technology. Because I worked it actually. I worked with in my let me say the recent projects. So many projects, especially in the smart manufacturing. Poland is very expert and advanced on this. And we here in the Middle East, and we say, how can we be just like them? So every city or every country, they have something unique that they don't realize about that till they hear it from the others. So this is, I wanted to say that really for you, because for us in the Middle East, we are always talking about the Poland technology. And let me also tell you also one fact about Poland. And this is let me feel very excited that I need to visit Poland, because
Yeah.
Poland is the first country who has females as CEOs similar to the men, equal. And I just learned about that when I visited the Poland, let me say, exhibition during Dubai. That was last year.
But I
So the
think,
pavilion,
yes,
yes,
yes, yes,
Poland
yes.
pavilion, yes, Poland pavilion, yeah, in Dubai. So that was really amazing. I said, I really wanted to go that. And Poland is also famous with the wood. So you have also so many things that the others they said, we need to learn from them how they are like that. So I'm telling everyone, every city, every country is unique with something, but definitely we're gonna have to have our national vision. Then we're gonna have our, let me say, a city vision. And the PPP model, the financial model, is the most important thing, because most of the projects definitely gonna need funding. But you're gonna find also some countries who has so much money, huge money to invest, but they don't know how to do that. And I have seen that a lot. I've seen organizations that they have the, let me say, the investment, they have the capex, but they don't know how to do what to do with them. And this will lead us to another thing. How can we succeed the smart city projects? Because it's not just about the money, it's also about the partnership between the government and the private sector. And for me, it is about the partnership between all the different sectors. So I have like the smart community from five pillars: the government, private, academia, SMEs and startups, and the community, or let me say the individuals who are going to use this service. So we have to build our unique projects in our cities based on these pillars. Because most of the time they say the government, we're gonna build the smart city. The private sector say, we're gonna build it. We are not going to succeed like that. We have to build it as integrated service. And it's not about IoT solutions or let me say AI. It's about who's going to use these services, who's going to use this road, this building. So if you are going to speak about smart city, the city that you are living on it, Sebastian, or let me say your area, Do you feel happy and secure? Because I'm telling people, how can you define smart, sustainable cities? Are you feeling happy? Are you feeling secured? So, if you are feeling happy and secured, and the most important, healthy, you are paying taxes. In return, we are expecting from the government to provide for us smart and sustainable environment. So the first thing is always about our health because we are having so many things around us that might affect our health. Recently, you have heard people talking a lot about the CO2 and climate changes. If you are hearing about this, what are they talking about? Actually, it's about our health. It's related to our city. It's related. So what I really love also about the successful stories of the other cities that you have mentioned, Sebastian, leadership. So it's not just about the money; it's also about the leadership. Who's
One
going to
second.
take the
Once,
decision?
sorry for interfering because I think I fully agree with all of those points you mentioned. In order to understand that, I think that unfortunately we don't have enough time to explore those pillars. However, one you missed. You missed something quite I think is crucial. Uh, it's exactly the people like you, orchestrator, who are in the middle of those pillars, And your last sentence about leadership, I think, is the key element. And I fully agree with you, Laila, that
Mhm.
without people with passion, with knowledge, we will never succeed good sustainable cities. And Laila, I'm going back to my question because I try to compare as well, because each time I have a excellent guest from different part of the globe, I asking him, this guest, about the hottest challenges that this region, in fact, is facing. What is when you are just looking at the Oman? What are the hottest challenges or the big challenges that Oman has right now?
Okay, when it comes to the challenges, I found it's similar to every city around the world because I'm traveling a lot, Sebastian, and I'm meeting a lot of people from different cities. It's always about the integration between the different sectors. It's all about who's going to lead this because I'm telling them it's not about one organization who's going to lead that one. And when I say it's about the integration, we have to speak first about the governance. Because if you are going to introduce a new technology, let me just give you one example. The smart meters for the smart energy and smart water. And Poland is very famous with, by the way, manufacturing the smart meters. And
Uh-huh.
when it comes to that, if you go to a new city and you say, I need to improve the utilities, because for us as citizens, the most important thing is that we need to have all of these services smart. I don't want to go to the government. I don't want to go to shout, complain about this bill is not accurate. So I need to check it that there's a smart meter through my mobile. I can see my consumption because I can't know how much I'm going to pay. So we need all of these smart utilities to be aligned, or let me say, provided for me before moving to my house. We are always missing something important, infrastructure. And when it comes to the infrastructure, everyone is complaining. They will say, and I'm just trying to give you one example. So let me talk about the smart gas meters. In Oman, we still don't have smart gas meters. So when we started talking about, for example, the infrastructure, who's going to be responsible about digging, let me say, because you have like a new built road. Suddenly you'll find the telecom operators are coming and digging the road because they need to fix something. And then another team from the electricity, they will go and also dig the road so they can fix, or let me say, build their own line. The water, they have their own also line. It's a mess. You will end up with a destroyed road. And everyone they say it's not my responsibility, it's their responsibility. So we are missing here what? The governance. If you are not updating, improving, developing your governance, you will not improve. So the governance is one of the main elements because you have to improve the policies, the regulations, because you're going to find some policies, it's almost like 20 or 30 years dated. So we have to make sure that we are improving all of this. The second thing is the financial model, because I know that you are very interested to know about that. Do we have allocated budget for every, let me say, sector, every service? And do we have the one that support the smart city projects? Because the smart city projects is not for one organization, because when it comes to the implementation of the smart city projects, every organization, the government, they say, no, this is not for me. This is X organization, this is X organization. So we need another budget allocated for the smart city projects at a cabinet level. So at a cabinet level, we need to take decisions and we have our own financial model. And the most important thing, the PPP model. Why I'm saying PPP model? Because it's not about bringing IoT or a new device and just implement it there. Because people they said, oh, these devices are stupid. It's not working. Why it's not working? Because the biggest mistake that most of the, let me say, technology company or the contractors who are facing, they will come to you, Sebastian, and they say, we are coming to sell you this service, this device. We have to treat the smart city projects as services, not just solutions, because we have to make it integrated. And
I
when I say
think that Laila,
integrated,
sorry,
uh,
because I should interfere because I know that I fully agree with that. I used to work for many different, I think for one biggest brand, however, I will not mention about it. However, what is important, you are right, because the biggest problem of vendors in cities is that they just want to deliver and sell and forget. If they are
yes,
selling service, it is that maintenance is one of the key elements, and nobody will create some,
exactly.
let's call it even bullshit service, because we'll not maintain it, in the long term.
You're right.
Probably one of the most important case. You as well mentioned about this PPP, this partnership.
Yes.
There is as well extremely important. One second, do you hear me, Laila, now?
Yes, I can hear you, but I cannot see you.
Yes, I think that is something with, that this last time has happened with my, one second, I will speak, you will hear me. I will
Okay, yes.
just,
Go ahead. Yes, I cannot
yes,
hear you very well. Yes.
I will just finish. I will restart. I will ask you and try to restart very quickly my camera. I think it's a problem with my camera, because you as well mentioned about this PPPP. In Poland, I think there is still problem with the trust. There are not a lot of projects that could just create this environment, those three elements, private, public, and sector, that I think we still facing this challenge. There are not a lot of projects around that.
Mhm.
What about in Oman, in the Middle East region? Is better? How it looks like?
We all have the same challenges, Sebastian. To be honest with you, let me give you another example. Another example is about the street lights, for example. Recently, everyone started to say we are smart, we are using the solar street lights. So last time I was having a conference in another country, and as soon as I saw the solar streets, I was just laughing because the same situation is almost in every city around the world. We just heard about a new technology, so all of us we say we are smart, we are implementing this technology. You found out that after, let me say, 1 or 2 years, they go and take out that technology because this is not going to be sustainable. And when I say sustainable, it's about the technology, how you can make it sustainable. And that's why I'm talking about a lot about the partnership with the private sector. We need to get it from them as a service so they can do the maintenance. They can connect it to the, let me say, the data, to the connectivity, to the clouds. We at the government level, for example, we get just the data, but let it be a full cycle because you're going to see a lot of new technologies. Everyone say, hey, we have a new technology. And then after 1 year, 2 year, you will find them removing that technology. And I say, it's no more effective like before. Why? Because there is no sustainability in maintaining that technology. So make sure that you don't invest in any technology as a capex. Make it as a partnership so you can guarantee there's maintenance, there is, let me say, smooth operation for that technology. So we have this situation in everywhere around the world, Sebastian. We all have some similar stories to mention. And that's why I'm always saying that partnership in smart cities is the most important thing. Let us have a unique model for every technology. And this is one of the things that I'm doing in Communities Connect Cities, that we are talking about technology as a service, TaaS. How can you create technology as a service? How can you create, for example, streets, light streets as a service, road as a service, connectivity as a service, platforms as a service, metaverse as a service? Because last time people were asking me about the metaverse, and I said, you can introduce metaverse as a service because nobody is interested to go inside the metaverse and then just get lost. But if you are having a business in metaverse, go to the others and present your service, metaverse as a service, for example. Say, I'm going to give you a service in the banking sector. I'm going to provide you a service in the education, in the health. Make it very simple for the other side. Not everyone can talk the same language that we are now talking. Not anyone can understand what we are really talking about. So make it very simple and make it very much affordable so they can know how to use it.
Laila, my last question. Can you share with us the service? It could be even the solution that you really like, and it could be the example, one of the best for you in Middle East.
The best for me. Recently, I have seen a rapid change in Saudi Arabia. I'm so much impressed, to be honest with you, with what really happened around Saudi Arabia, especially in one of their, let me say, city projects is NEOM. And NEOM is another story. They even call it cognitive city. So they brought, let me say, the best of the best so they can design the city. I want to say design city. So they started from the base, the infrastructure, and they brought the best urban architects around the world so they can design a very unique project. And I'm very excited to see the results, the final results of that project, because it's very exciting to see how a new city is built in the middle of the desert. This is one of the things. And recently, I can see also a very rapid investment when it comes to technology in Saudi Arabia, because I have been to live the last 2 years, and I have seen a lot of new technologies. It's amazing. And this is very good for all of us around MENA. Why? Because it has created that competition. Everyone wanted to show what they are really doing. In Oman, for example, we have unique story about the sustainable villages in Oman. And I haven't seen this in the other areas. And this is what I say, we can learn from each other. Every country, they can be good in something and they can learn from the other country. Oman is very, let me say, unique with a very successful story when it comes to innovation of the old villages, because we have like old villages in Oman. These villages were abandoned, because we are going to speak about sustainable cities. You need also to make sure that there are people living in that city. You don't want to find abandoned cities. And because we have a lot of mud houses, the old houses here in Oman. And during COVID-19, the tourism inside Oman has increased rapidly. Why? And what's really interesting about it, that people are driving the change in Oman. So I wish if you could visit this one day, Sebastian, because we started the story in one of the villages in Oman. It's called Misfat Al Abriyin. I know the name is so much difficult, but it started actually in this village. As soon as they become, it started with one house. That house, and it was started by one person. Everyone fighted that person. He got the resistance from his community, from the government. Why from the government? It was something new for the government. They never give, let me say, license for a mud house to be a cafe or to be in-house, a guest house.
Mhm.
As soon as he became successful, today 60% of the houses in that village are renovated, and it's becoming one of the most visited attractions in Oman. Now, if you are having some VIP visiting Oman, they will take them there. They will take them there to that village. And because of that change, it started affecting the other cities in Oman. It started affecting the nearby villages. So it's becoming a very successful story to share with everyone about how we brought back the life to these abandoned cities. So when it comes, as I said, Sebastian, every country, they have their unique best practice. And this is one of the things that we always do in the smart cities. We are learning from the best practice around the world. Taiwan, for example, and Japan, they have the culture experience. Because of the culture, you're gonna find the streets very clean. And there's no trash, by the way. And I said, how it is clean and there's no trash? And they say, take your trash with you to home. And I was really seriously? It's becoming a culture, yes, it's becoming culture. So they protect the environment, they care about it. So it's about the community, the culture in every city, in every country around the world. That is how we are creating our unique cities to make it livable for us, the citizens. Because definitely the Polish cities is different than the Omani cities. And we need to make sure it is adapted, the DNA of our own culture and thoughts, and then we can use the technology to make our life easier.
Laila, because you shared with us many insights, I think, as well good advices, because on the one hand, I fully agree with you. On the other, I really like to hear you, by the way. And unfortunately, our chat brings us to the end. Unfortunately, I hope that it is not our last discussion. We will continue those, let's say, chats about potential cooperation and exchanging the knowledge, because to be honest with you, I as well love to exchange, because our times has changed so far around the way of we are communicating, and this way that we can have a chance to exchange our experience, I think as well creating another opportunity for others. That I really like it. That Laila, thank you very much. Last word from yourself, and in the moment I should unfortunately close our live.
Thank you so much, Sebastian. I really feel honored, and yes, the time was really flying. I really enjoyed talking with you, and I hope that everyone who were listening to us, they enjoyed the thought. And let me just give you another, let me say, final one. Your city is your city. You are the one who's going to drive the change. Don't wait the others to make the change. One person can make impact in his community. So wish you all a very safe and secure and happy, definitely, life in your own city. Thank you so much, Sebastian, everyone.
Thank you very much. Please stay online. I will just go to the solo image, and in the moment I will go back to you.
Thank you.
Just, I'm still impressed by the discussion I had with Laila. Guys, thank you very much. Please subscribe our channel just to get to know what is happening worldwide, as well what is happening in Mazowiecki around our project Blockchain City. Now I'm switching to Polish. Dziękuję Wam bardzo. Mam nadzieję, że dla tych, którzy dotrwali z nami do końca, szczególnie dla tych młodych ludzi z Mińska Mazowieckiego, naszych fanów, naszych również uczniów, którzy biorą udział w naszym projekcie Blockchain City. Uważam, że wszystkie informacje, które przekazała nam Laila, są ważne i mam nadzieję, że weźmiecie sobie je do serca. Ja Was serdecznie żegnam. Zapraszam Was, tak jak wspominałem, do subskrybowania naszego kanału, bycia z nami przez cały czas. Polecajcie nasz kanał, bo to dla nas i dla mnie osobiście duża nagroda, że korzystacie i uczycie się ciekawych doświadczeń z całego świata, ale również i z tego, co robimy w Polsce. Witam, a może i żegnam. Witam Was w naszej drodze do samorządowego ideału w Smart City, a żegnam Was, bo niestety musimy dzisiaj skończyć. Bye, bye.